What is an icon? What is an icon? It can be definitely stated that Jesus is iconic. Gandhi would be iconic. Mandela would be iconic. There are so many icons in our world. One of the most contemporary ones would be Martin Luther King. But here's my question. Do we do these individuals service by turning them into icons? Martin Luther King would be the first person to tell you that that was not what he sought. What he sought was a beloved community. A community where people, especially the underrepresented, yes, blacks, but also Hispanics, Asians, anyone in the world that was consistently in a seemingly one step down from society. He would also state that even though the people that suppressed them were suppressing them, should not be mistreated either. For only by being in a beloved community where everyone was given love and everyone was cherished, would you then succeed in whatever campaign you were trying to go on. I'd say we've fallen just a bit short. Where are we right now? Now, obviously, from this position, I'm not about to go into politics. That's not the wheelhouse today. But where are we compared to when he started? When Martin Luther King started? Before Martin Luther King started? Since the beginning of time, in memoriam. The concept of beloved community has been around. Now, I'm an atheist, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to say anything negative about Jesus Christ. No. No, no, no. No, I'm spiritual. Christ professed love for all. Gandhi originally started as a barrister, a very young barrister in South Africa. He had just landed his position from the Queen's Bar and was quite full of himself when he landed inside of South Africa, not understanding, of course, that the last place he should have been was in a first-class car going down the rails in South Africa. That was his first dose of humility, being tossed by a conductor onto the ground. So every month, we have a different theme that we look at. This month's theme is called Finding Our Center. And I'm going to ask you to indulge me for just a little while. And I'm going to ask you to do some would say a rhetorical trick. Okay? So when we're finding our center, that's one way of looking at the theme. But I'm going to ask you to look at it from a global perspective about finding our center as a humanity, as a whole humanity. What do you say? Yen? Thank you. As Unitarians, I think we'll be able to definitely go down our sixth and seventh principle. Our sixth principle being the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. And our seventh, respect for the interdependent web of all existence in which we are a part of. I don't think I have to pound too hard on the podium to talk about that. I am preaching to the choir. But here's the thing. Each and every one of us looking at an icon isn't helping get from point A to point B. And yes, it's nice to talk about Martin Luther King. We do it once a year. Some of us a little more. I spent hours trying to figure out how to do service to this man in this service. And I want you to know that I feel very below the task. I thought maybe I should do 25 minutes of video splicing. How many times have you watched him speak? And I'm not talking about I have a dream. Please, no. There are hundreds and hundreds of different videos of Martin Luther King, not just speaking publicly. And believe me, he makes me look like a piker. But his intensity, his commitment, his passion at his age. He conveyed more than anyone else that I can possibly come up with the idea of the power of what would be available to us if we just gave up the idea that there's so little in the world that we are able to parse out on into our plates. There is no shortage of love, people. There's no shortage of love. Where is your passion? Where is your commitment? What is it that you really want to do? He didn't care what his contemporaries said. They were against him when he started speaking out against the Vietnam War. They were horrified for the most part. They thought it was going to do a disservice to what the civil rights commitment was that he was originally starting. They told him to stay in that arena. And his response was quite simple. He said, I'm a minister, and I've been called. And if that's what they want to do, then let them do it. And I can't tell you how badly he ticked off our President of the United States at the time, who had just signed the Civil Rights Bill and the Voting Rights Act. LBJ was not a happy camper. Now think about that. The man had a vision, and it developed. It was dynamic. And that's the problem with being an icon. Because Martin Luther King was not static. Martin Luther King was ever evolving. He changed it up. As he got deeper and deeper and deeper into the conversations that he was talking about, originally equality for blacks, he then realized that that was a disservice to a wider message that was available. Talking about peace, talking about the fact that by us being in Vietnam, we were doing a huge disservice to our people that were there fighting, as well as to the people of Vietnam. And then it got bigger. You know, I didn't know until quite recently that he was the person who started the Poor People's Campaign. I didn't understand that. He realized that economic inequality for the people of America was huge. We're talking about white people in Appalachia. We're talking about black people in the South. We're talking about brown people in the West. Last year, at the General Assembly, one of the things that was very clear to me that came out of that was we were told that church is not just church. Every moment of our life, we give ourselves the opportunity of always being in a bigger conversation. And there are many of us that are in bigger conversations. What stops you if you're stopped? Somebody looking at you askance? Somebody asking you to stay in your lane? Somebody questioning your faith? What's uncomfortable to talk about? I am a huge MSNBC viewer. Huge. But do you know what? I was thinking about this as I was going through the Martin Luther King videos. What a disservice it is to me to watch that exclusively. That's a liberal Fox television. It's an echo chamber. Why is it that they only consistently, I mean, I watch Deadline White House. I watch Ari Milber. I watch Joy Reid. I mean, I watch all the shows there. Stephanie Rule, The 11th Hour. But they're all repeating the same thing. There is so much stuff going on in the world. Why do we get caught up in the petty stuff? There are books to read. There are speeches to watch. There are things to do. What did you decide you were going to do for the new year? Wow. Thank you. I'm a troublemaker wherever I go. Look, I'm not going to stand up here and pound on the pulpit and sound righteous. Maybe it's already too late. So I was sitting down there. I didn't want to pound on the pulpit. You know, the last night that Martin Luther King was alive, he spoke to the Memphis sanitation workers. You may be aware of that. Two gentlemen had been somehow basically killed inside of a trash truck. I'm not exactly sure as to the exact circumstances of why they were in the trash truck. My understanding is that they weren't allowed to basically, I think they were trying to shield themselves from the rain. And because they were black, they were not allowed to basically take shelter in the white area that they were in at the time. And something went terribly wrong. And that cascaded into the whole strike. And the gentlemen, all the sanitation workers carrying signs that say, "I am a man." I implore you, if you have never seen these videos, to watch them, any of them. I have never seen such hatred in the faces of small children, white children, screaming and throwing rocks. Screaming and throwing rocks, emulating what was around them. I implore you, let nothing ever stop you. Nothing. Your children, obviously, and I have never been a parent, so take this advice for what it's worth. Actually, that's not even really necessarily a good idea. I think everyone should start anew. When was the last time you colored in a coloring book? Put a puzzle together. Done something childish. I ask you to be a child again. I ask all the adults to be a child again. Let's start again. What is your history? What does it matter? Give up who you are, just for a second, and play. Play. What did you always wanted to do, but you never did it? I'm going to terrorize these guys later because I want to find out how to play the guitar. Merlin's going to hate me. I'll become his own worst nightmare. in the recesses of your mind, as we try to find our center, the best thing that can possibly happen is for you to reach out to people outside of you. Something I learned when I did some classes a long time ago in a program that I don't even think existed anymore, was if you really want to do something, build yourself a tiger-proof cage you can't get out of with the tiger in it. You get motivated real fast. Tell everybody what you want to do. Proclaim it from the highest mountain. Make it public. Give yourself a date by when. If food can do it, we can do it. And then go for it. Just go for it. Martin Luther King did that. Be a visionary. Martin Luther King was not part of the Marvel world. He was a real man. And like all of us, he also had his limitations. I hate calling these things sermons for me. When I stand here, this is Reverend Nika's post. I love that woman dearly. It's changed my life. Changed my life. And I'm sure she's changed yours. Passion. Commitment. Vision. Power without being powerful. Love. She has built a beloved community here. Let us do her the service of building that beloved community out there. She is but one, but imagine the magnification factor of us. Imagine all of us being little Nikas running around. We wish, but we get to aspire to do it because we're kids again. You know, one of the things that I love about silence is you can actually take a moment and consider everything around you. All the noises, all the breathing, all the power that sits here. All the power that sits here. So, thank you for the indulgence. I appreciate you considering R as a global conversation. And if you want to scale it back to R, then please let the control boys from the Outer Limits put you back there. Sorry, I'm probably speaking to people that don't know the Outer Limits, but it's another story. So, with that, consider this sermon over, but not out.